Good evening and welcome to round 9, the grand final of the Escort Cup for 1983. And tonight, Torrens battles South, not just for the cup, but for the winner's purse of $15,000. And it's a special welcome tonight to viewers through Channel 8 in Mount Gambier, Channel 5A in Loxton, and Channel 8 up there in Darwin. Down here, we're looking forward to an exciting game of football. To find out what the players feel, we'll cross down to the South rooms first, where Brenton Miles is speaking with their coach, Graham Corns.
Graham, this year you've proved what many people have said is very difficult, and that is to be a successful playing coach. Is it as difficult as many people would have us believe?
I found it a little bit difficult at times. I've been fortunate because the team's been playing well and I've had good players around me, but I do find it difficult to concentrate on what's happening in the game and also concentrate on my opponent as well. And at times, you look up and your opponent's 40 yards away from you, which is not really acceptable from a guy who's playing centre-half back. But at the same time, the advantages of being out there is outweigh the disadvantages, I suppose. And I think everyone, as I said, good players around you make it a little bit easier.
Is it necessary to have that extra backup support on the bench? You often see moves being made without any indication the coach has actually made them, or don't you operate on that basis?
Oh, the message comes out. The suggestions are always pumped in, and I think it's vital that you have that, because you can get wrapped up in the game and there's an obvious move that should be made that you don't think of making, and not that they're made without you unless it's blatantly obvious, and mainly the message comes out, what about this, what about that, and you say yes or no, or wait a while. So.
Well, obviously you found a pretty successful formula so far, Graham. What about tonight's game? Have you had any trouble maintaining the players' enthusiasm with you doing so well on Saturday and with the final series in sight, aside from having a grand final tonight?
Well, it is a grand final. It's a bit of pride at stake, because South Adelaide's reputation in night football is pretty well founded. We've got to live up to that. At the same time, we know West Torrens have got really nothing left this season other than this game tonight, and so we know they're going to be desperate and competitive, and that's a pretty good incentive for us to play well. Good.
Graham, South have done well this season. We wish you all the very best in tonight's grand final.
Thanks, Brent.
And now, over in the Torrens rooms, Brenton speaking with their coach, Glenn Elliott.
Glenn, it's been a long time since West Torrens played in the grand final, so I guess maintaining the players' enthusiasm this week was the least of your problems.
Yes, Brenton. Well, of course, we had a disappointing day on Saturday afternoon, but the players are very much aware of tonight's game and will perform well.
It looks a good side, Glenn, and you've proved that in the night competition so far, but there's a pretty useful blending of youth and experience within the side that you've selected tonight.
Yes, we've got some very promising youngsters there, and as you've so well pointed out, there's enough senior players there to lend a bit of experience as well.
And you've certainly got the support of your supporters. The change rooms down below and the social rooms are like Rundle Mall.
Yeah, it's you pointed out, it's 30 years is a long time between drinks for a club, and we certainly want to do well tonight.
We do wish you well, Glenn. What about the loss of Peter Johnson? Will that balance your side at all?
Yes, well, but then, in fairness, you've got to look at South Adelaide. Mark Naley's going to be out, and Cornsey will be out, I believe. So it gives another player a chance, and we just expect a little bit more contribution from the other players around the ground to make up for Jono.
The old team effort. Glenn, we do wish you all the very best and your club for tonight's Escort Cup final.
Thanks, Brenton.
And with us as usual is State Coach Bob Hammond. Bob, an important game for both sides tonight.
Well, it is. Both sides obviously very keen to win. West Torrens have made this a very important mission tonight. They want their younger players to experience the pressure of finals. South Adelaide taking all before them in day football, been champions of the night before, and obviously going to be very hard to beat.
Just quickly, Bob, what do you think about the playing surface? Will that have much of a bearing on the game?
Well, it'll have a slight bearing upon the game. It'll be played on the ground rather than in the air. Hawkins has been a very significant factor as far as South Adelaide's concerned. Torrens missing Johnson tonight, who's been in fine form. But with the home ground advantage, of course, they're going to really stretch South Adelaide.
Thanks, Bob. We'll take a break now and we'll come back with our commentators right after this break.
Welcome back to Tiverton Oval, the home of the Eagles, who tonight do battle with South Adelaide in the grand final of the Escort Cup. Brian, best crowd we've had of the series, and one would expect it for a grand final.
Quite agreed, Ted. I suppose there's at least 3,000 people here, and really it's quite a good night for football, isn't it? Doesn't look like too much rain around, a little bit of breeze.
Well, I'm sure the sponsors are certainly glad that the fellow upstairs has been very kind to them in terms of the weather, because we've only had one really bad night, maybe a little wet underfoot tonight, but I don't think either of these sides, the Eagles on their home ground, the South with their skill level, I don't think either of them are going to have any trouble with conditions.
No, it's the moment of truth, Ted, and after Torrens' big defeat on Saturday, they'd be looking for a big performance here. They're real keyed up for this game, and so there should be too. There's 15,000 good reasons, and it's very valuable money as far as clubs are concerned.
They certainly are. It's a big end of the prize, but it's amazing how Torrens have bounced back after a defeat on a Saturday in this night series. Let's have a look at the South Adelaide side, Brian. Across the forward line, it's Schulz, Miller and Keane. Across half forward, we have Slattery, Snebickler and Hewitt. The centre line is Martin, Wald and Haitley. The half-back line, Salento, Farquhar and Honor. The back line, Ivanov, Brooksby. That's Graham Brooksby, not playing at full forward as he normally does, but playing full back. Stewie Palmer in the back pocket and leading the side. The ruck is Hawkins, Bennett and Butler. Interchange players, Tutt and David Kapler.
That's rather interesting there. Phil Brooksby not on the side, a key player in that position, Ted.
Certainly is. A few changes in the Torrens side, or a few from the way people thought they'd line up. What are they, Brian?
Well, this is how we've got it, Ted. It may not be quite accurate, but this is what we've got in front. Pillmore, Carter and Hanna across the full forward line. Half forward line, Lindsay, Robson and Mark Pavlik. Centre line, Cazzoli, Nicolaitis and Kevin Hill. Half-backs, Enright, Kellett and Collier. Back pocket, Pisani, Curtis and Simons. Ruck, Hodson, Dillon and Schimmelbusch. The interchange will be Hamill and Stretch, and the umpires for the final will be Rick Charlesworth and Rick Kinnear.
Well, I don't know whether it was mentioned in earlier previews, but I certainly feel that South are a percentage side. They tend to kick low scores and have low scores kicked against them, and that seems to suit itself for night football, Brian.
Well, they're both similar sides as I see it, Ted. Both sides rely on a lot of running players. Torrens have done well with their smaller players. It'll be an excellent night, I would think, for a player like Schimmelbusch tonight. But South Adelaide with a lot of capable players. Well, there's the siren. The start of the 1983 Escort Grand Final, Torrens versus South at Thebarton, and away they go. Immediately it's Glenn Hewitt on hands and knees, gets the handball to Hawkins, into a scrimmage straight away. Players finding it difficult to get out, a little tacky in that centre, although not as bad as it could be. Probably the worst part of the ground is across the half forward line at the Henley Beach end. Kinnear takes the bounce down, the tap to Wool, tries to burst through the pack. Butler taps it on towards Martin. Martin with that excellent speed of his onto the left foot, the boot I should say, into the full forward area. Miller is there, players gathering very close to the boundary line at the moment, and indeed a free kick has been picked up.
Yes, free kick to Torrens.
So Torrens work it across the ground. Dillon is almost in the goal square. Not a good kick by Dillon. Coming up towards the half-back line in that very tacky area. Nicolaitis is there. The handball is a bad one. Gives the opportunity to Schulz. He goes to the ground with Nicolaitis. Players on top of the ball. Can they get it out of that back pocket? It's still very tight as it comes out now towards Collier. Collier can't quite pick it up. Onto the deck it goes. An opportunity for Slattery onto the left boot. Hooks it around. The goal umpire covering a bit of territory. Slightly offline. The first score in the grand final on the board. To South Adelaide, 1 point. Torrens yet to score.
Well, it's certainly a grand final. The tempo of the game has started much quicker than any of the games during this night series.
Curtis kicking towards centre half back, and the mark is taken there. Well for West Torrens by David Cazzoli. Goes out towards centre wing, grandstand side. Behind it was Hill, couldn't complete the mark, but keeps it running for him. Goes to ground, he's ridden into the ground, and he'll get the free kick from the half-back flank. Decides to stay in the lee of the grandstand. Over centre wing it goes. Robson, couple of grabs, but a good mark. And a pretty heavy pressure there from Farquhar, but he goes towards centre half forward. This time the mark will be taken in defence for South Adelaide by Hawkins. No, they gets the free kick. A quick play on. Honour it was. Get the ball down towards the half forward line for South. Fisted forward. Ball taken to ground by Pisani. Hewitt in there for South. Somebody ridden into the turf. The free kick will go the way of West Torrens, and they work it through Cazzoli over towards that centre wing area. Again, scrambly play, and as you say, Bob, typical grand final football.
Yes, it is. It's also worthwhile pointing out that South Adelaide are kicking with the advantage of what appeared to be, or what does appear to be, about a 3-goal breeze.
Right, it was Schimmelbusch that got the kick into bodies. Onto the deck it goes. The umpire watching closely. The whistle has sounded. It's a free kick going South Adelaide's way.
Yes, he didn't make an attempt to dispose of the ball correctly, tended to drop it and paid the full penalty.
Glenn Hewitt it is. Glenn Hewitt, not much distance in that kick. Drops at centre half forward. An opportunity now for South Adelaide as it goes over to Salento, lines them up, away it goes, and offline from here. The goal umpire agrees, and the minor score once more. So 2 points on the board to South Adelaide. Torrens yet to score.
Yes, doing all the attacking South Adelaide. Slick handball by Slattery then created the opportunity.
Again, it was Curtis Chicken. He goes out wide and looks for and finds Dillon. The mark paid.
Teddy Dillon's been a good player for Torrens right through the night series.
He certainly has, and again he gets a bit of distance against the breeze over towards the grandstand. Robson in front. He was taken forward in the effort by Farquhar to spoil him. He's almost on the half-back line as he goes over centre. Hawkins in his traditional role behind the play has it pumped away. Comes once again from the boot of Schimmelbusch up towards the forward line. Carter's there, he takes the mark. 30 metres out in a very tight angle. Dropping into the pocket there is Mark Pavlik. Ignores the lead, however. Dillon on a lead, but Carter gets the ball. The wind takes over. It'll come back about 20 metres out from goal. Off the hands of the pack. Torrens burst forward again. They can't get the score on the board. Off the boot of Ian Hanna. 1 point only.
That wind certainly showed, that ball I should say showed what wind effect it had. It took that ball back some 20 metres in flight.
A little bit of loose checking here by West Torrens as Would takes the mark. A quick handball on towards Martin. Martin tries to get it back. Very slippery there, as you can see. Players had a difficult spot there to hold their footing. Martin to Butler. Butler's left boot up towards the half-forward line, and the mark there to Schneepickler. I'll be looking for a big game from him tonight, South Adelaide. I would suggest a high kick with the distance two up over the head of Miller. An opportunity for Hately into the open goals, quickly to boot. Point blank range, and through it goes. The first goal on the board to South Adelaide, to Ron Hately. South 1-2, West Torrens 1 point.
Well, the effect of the breeze upon that ball's carried it over the pack. Hately was just lurking behind the pack. Let's have a look. The pack basically got right under the fall of the ball. Hately lurked down from his centre wing into the goal square and read the ball better off hands than any other player and waltzed in for a very easy goal.
That's the way Hately likes to do it, Bob, isn't it? The way
well, he's very sneaky. It gets down through half forward, the ball over the head on that occasion, and the easiest of goals.
Centre bounce, this time Hodson's tap away. Bennett's there. Gets the hand pass away. A little bit of hands, knees and boops at Daisy in the middle of the ground. Restart. Big pack around it this time. This time Hodson loses it to Hawkins. Scholl's got the kick forward. Enright tapped it back. Lindsay's there. Off once again to Schimmelbusch. Hand pass was on to Enright up towards the half-forward line, and the mark taken by Lee Robson on the left half-forward flank. Well, Torrens certainly aren't daunted by the breeze as they go into attack. They get it up towards the goal area once again. There's Hawkins with a hand pass to Ivanov, to Martin. Torrens with 3-1, and it's Carter who comes back. Looks for the empty slot. Hawkins again puts up the big arm. Player held. The play on is called. Dillon snapped towards goal. The wind influence again is ever so evident, Bob, as the ball goes across the face of goal.
Yes, a bit of heavy body work going on there. Ivanov was prepared to run the risk and take the body, but Torrens on that occasion through Dillon with the big kick towards goal point the result.
Stewie Palmer, this time towards the outer side. The mark can't be taken. Hodson gets it to the second attempt, but cannot control it. Onto the deck it goes once more. Hodson with his body over the ball. A couple of hands on it, but meanwhile the whistle is gone. Bounce down, outer side, half-forward flank for the Eagles.
Bob, would you go with that wide? Would you kick in the breeze the way it is? It's a long way back to the goal front for South.
Head straight for the centre of the ground.
Butler takes the tap. A hurried kick up towards the wing on that outer side. It'll beat players across the line. And a throw in now on the half-forward line for South Adelaide.
Teddy, trying to quantify that wind, it would carry a ball an extra 20 metres. I would say that the same player kicking with the same efficiency against it would be 20 metres less than with it.
Right, it's Simons that comes through, had a touch for a moment but loses it. Bodies in over the ball, tapped out into the open spaces. Can Collier get there? He can't. In fact, he helps it across the line, and once more a throw-in. I think that breeze, if anything, Bob, is fresh in the last 5 to 10 minutes. The boundary umpire now whips it in. 36 is Nabikla. Got the tap, goes to Nicolaitis. Nicolaitis grabbed too high according to the umpire, and he'll get the free kick. Been an exciting player, this lad, this year, Bob.
Well, he's been a real find. He's a fine player. He's 22 or 23, but Torrens have discovered him this year, and he's held centre fairly well for them.
Up towards the wing, and it's big Rob Hawkins, I should say, in there for the Panthers. Hawkins now. He's got the loose player. It's Bennett. The handball will find him. Gee, that kick has got that extra distance too as it goes into the full forward area, but the mark taken there by Collier for West Torrens. On the outer side. Short pass looking for Hodgson. He's in front position and will take the mark.
Did it well.
Once more short towards the wing on the outer side. Players can't hold it at the moment. The whistle is gone and it'll be a free kick. Torrens one. It appears to be Nicolaitis again. Nicolaitis, the chance to put them up towards the half-forward line. In comes Robson again. He's been more than prominent in the first 5 minutes or so of this game. Robson out wide trying to find Schimmelbusch. It's in his path, but he's hotly pressed by Salento. Schimmelbusch with his body over the ball, goes to the ground. In comes Butler now. He's pulled and called play on. Through comes Schimmelbusch again. A bit untidy at the moment, but the ball across the line, and the field umpire forces the throw.
Robson to do the tapping for West Torrens, but Hawkins again got it away. Dillon was in the van. Palmer couldn't get the hand pass clear. That time, the interception done by Cazzoli. Torrens back up to the forward line. Carter just loses out to Brooksby. Whips it back. Dillon in again. Gets it clear. Hannah's there for West Torrens. The wind again pulls the ball over the boundary line, and kick in to be taken by South Adelaide. 1 goal to South Adelaide, 2 points Torrens. We've played just on 10 minutes now in this first term. And once again, South go back into what I would call the dead side of the oval.
Hodgson with a quick kick, offline and out of play once more.
Big task for the young fella tonight, Bob, having to play on Hawkins, who's been one of the form ruckmen of the league this year.
Certainly one of the form ruckmen, if not the absolute form ruckman. He's held the South rucks together, in fact almost done it single-handed, but Hodgson to this stage has done well in the tapping department against Hawkins, but Hawkins' field play to this stage has been just that bit better.
Well, a scrimmage forms. This time the umpire decides to throw it in the air. Once more the scrimmage forms. Players can't get it out. The umpire will assist. Good night to pick that first free, Bob, in the scrimmage, wouldn't it?
Well,
players.
It's absolutely necessary, because every time the ball's going to be fumbled, it's going to create more problems.
Right, well, here's an opportunity once more for Peter Carter as he takes the mark on that outer side.
That was a good attacking movement by young Pillmore then. He just ran straight at the ball and got the low trajectory kick away.
So Carter decides to go the full distance, but an opportunity now for Salento. Can't quite control the ball, a little slippery, and a throw into result. No, it's a point, slipped in over the behind line, so the minor score to Torrens. They go to 3 points, trailing South Adelaide 1-2, Ted Langridge.
And it's Stewie Palmer, this time down the centre of the ground. Bennett in for the second bite of the cherry, gone to ground, he was tackled high, he'll get the resultant free kick. He's at centre half back as he takes it. Snabikla calls for it over on that outer side of the ground again. The ball will drop short and the mark taken in the centre of the ground by David Cazzoli. Doesn't get a lot of distance, but it's a neat looking kick. There's interference behind the play, and it'll be Rob Hawkins to take the kick. Robson, the player who took him out of business. Well, the seconds tick away for South Adelaide. They have only 1 goal on the board, and we've played 12 minutes. And a straight 21 minutes paid with no added time in the first 2 quarters. Gets some distance towards centre half forward, the back of the pack. Butler, then tapped on again to Schulz. Schulz to Slattery. Slattery to South, second major of the game. They go now to 2-2, leading Torrens 3 points. Bob Hammond.
Well, it wasn't the prettiest football you've seen, but when they did attack directly from centre half back, the ball tended to carry the pack. We see Butler trying to push it on, but not quite able to do it effectively, but it was a good tap on in the finish by Keane that resulted in Slattery receiving the ball just 25 metres out and converting for full points. 2-2 South Adelaide, Torrens 3 points.
So the ball back to umpire Rick Charlesworth in the centre circle, once more to commence the action. Down it goes. Big fellows contest. Looked like Mick Hamill that got that one, but off hands it's pinched by Bennett. It's South into attack immediately up towards that half forward line. Kellett is there. tackled by Slattery. Off hands it goes, an opportunity for Curtis. Curtis drives it from the half-back line out to the paddock. Slattery is, not Slattery, it's Martin in front position. Challenged by Pavlik, no control from either player, and a throw into result. Centre wing on the outer. 2-2 South, Torrens 3 points. Hamill number 11, Hawkins number 15. The tap comes back in the direction of Pavlik. Quick handball from Schulz, gives the opportunity there for Ivanov. Into the centre of the ground it goes. An opportunity now for Collier. It's been quite prominent in this game. A short kick into the centre. Mick Hamill edged out of the way slightly. Play goes on, however. Nicolaitis overruns the ball, grabbed by Pillmore, takes a fair time to get rid of it. Schulz picks it up. The kick goes straight up and straight down as it covered the 10 metres. It's Little Hill in opposition to Hately. Hately goes to the ground with Hill over the back, and Hately to get the free kick by the look of it. Yes, it is Kevin Hill about to play. No, it's going to be Kevin Hill to get the free kick.
Yes, a little hard to follow.
Hill now towards centre half forward. Honour is there. Lindsay in front position will take it for the Eagles. Lindsay looking for some movement up forward. Brooksby this time, Graham Brooksby in front of Carter, plays on, gets the hurried handball out into the path of Martin. Martin in that very sticky spot, gets it back to Ivanov, the handball back to Hawkins. Hawkins now goes long, out towards that outer side. It's Glenn Hewitt from behind, goes for the spoil. In doing so, has he interfered with Enright? The whistle has sounded. Which way is it going? It is going to Bob Enright. Half-back flank on the outer side.
Bob Enright content to go towards the centre. There's a big leap and a big mark taken by centre man for West Torrens, and the player mentioned before, Paul Nicolaitis. Up towards half forward, the back of the pack, it's Ivanov who takes the mark. He's on the half-back flank as he takes the kick. Redirects play back towards the centre of the ground with a pack. Brings the ball to the deck. Pillmore's hand pass is good to Nicolaitis. The kick well and truly smothered, however. Taken away for South there. Carted forward by Greg Salento. Quick breakaway. Sees the ball go up forward from the hands of Martin. Slattery's hand pass is good. Lands with Bennett. Bennett into the open goal and has pushed it just offline in the breeze. 2 goals, 3 South. 3 goals the difference now because Torrens have 3 points on the board.
Well, Wayne Slattery on that occasion gave Michael Bennett every opportunity. He marked the ball, quickly handballed it on. It wasn't the best handball you've seen, but certainly gave you an open path to goal. But unfortunately for South Adelaide, Bennett not quite up to the occasion.
Kim Curtis short into the back pocket position, and the mark taken there by Chris Kellett. Kellett even wider. Trying to find Collier, is it, or Cazzoli, one of the two. Close to the boundary line, the umpire deemed the ball to be out of play on the full, so it'll be a free kick to Paul Martin of South Adelaide. Been a movement in the forward lines from Schneebickler. He's got front position. Kellett very close to him, contests the mark, but it's thumped away. Hamill in possession, loses it. An opportunity for Butler. Butler loses it. In comes Hill, the whistle is gone, and Butler to get the free kick in the back.
You could almost see that going to happen. That was a regulation push in the back.
Yeah, well, he was playing over the top of the ball, and the moment that someone laid a hand on him, you could bet your bottom dollar that they were going to give away a free kick. Now Butler has the opportunity. He's just 30 metres out, dead in front of goal.
That breeze is going very much across his right shoulder.
We'll see if he allows for it. It looks as though he's let it out far enough. It's in for the 3rd goal to South Adelaide. They're 3-3 to the 3 points, 2-3 points to West Torrens. Bob, what do you think that breeze is worth down there?
About 3 goals. I did say in the early part of the quarter, and I believe that to be the case. What it has proven to be is very difficult to score at the other end. Torrens have been in the position to score on a couple of occasions, but the breeze seems to cut across the back of those goals and tends to take it away from goal. Butler, as we said before, was 30 metres out, dead in front, and made no mistake. 3-3 to 3 points.
Once again, Hodgson and Hawkins. Hawkins with the thump away. But it's Torrens trying to work it clear. It's Enright's hand pass is good, finds Mick Hamill. Some good distance out of the kick too. Robson positioned himself well. Didn't get it, but Hannah quickly swooped in. Onto the right boot. Into the pocket it goes. Robson, gee, didn't he make some ground to get there? Tap through. Carter it was, rather. Got there in time to see the ball over the line. Stewie Palmer forced to go defensive. 1 point 4 points Torrens, trailing South 3-3, 21 points.
That was a super take of Hannah's off the ground. He slipped in there like lightning, took it off the ground and broke clear for goal.
Once again Palmer in, but slightly towards the outer side of the ground. South get the ball to Schultz. He goes towards the left forward pocket. Players get there and taken away by Curtis with the hand pass towards the boundary line. No possession taken, a throw in the left forward pocket. 3 minutes of the first term to go and 17 points the difference in South's favour. Grand final of the Escort Cup. Tap away again. Sees the kick forward by South. Held up. That was Collier's hand pass. That was held up again. Comes to Wall. Snaps towards goal. And through it goes, and South get the advantage of the straight bounce through for their fourth goal. 4-3 now, South. Torrens 4 behind.
That was an excellent snap. It was just picked up, jammed onto the boot, or not jammed straight away, just broke clear onto his left boot, did Would, and 30 metres out, lobbed the ball in the square, received a favourable bounce, and that's 4-3 to South Adelaide, leading Torrens 4 points.
So back in the centre, umpire Rick Charlesworth. Hamill gets the tap. Schimmelbusch tries to get the take, but the umpire has seen a free kick in that pack for some reason or other, and Mark Schulz will get the free kick for South Adelaide.
The Torrens definitely don't want South Adelaide to score. There's just 2 minutes left to play, and with 4 goals, trailing by 4 goals, they want to retain the ball.
Curtis up from behind, gets the fist away for the South defence. The ball running towards the boundary line, over and a throw in to result the half-forward line. Yeah, with some of those kicks coming from half-back by the South Adelaide defenders, Bob, there's only one way to go, isn't there? And that's straight down the centre.
Yep. Try to get it over centre half forward.
Right, Schnabikla contests. The handball will find Mark Pavlik. A handball on towards Schimmelbusch. Schimmelbusch with a touch of the fumbles has got a push in the back, according to umpire Rick Charlesworth. And Daryl Schimmelbusch with possession. Uses handball to get it to Hill. Hill eludes the opponent. Getting around onto the right boot now. Fires it towards the centre of the ground. The ball running loose will give Robson the opportunity. He's got the loose man. If he could get the handball over, but beautifully intercepted there by Ivanoff. Ivanoff tries to find Butler. It's too far, but backing up, it's Hately. Hately appeared to throw that as it comes to Enright. Enright now from centre half back. A high kick into the centre of the ground. Ivanoff has got the courage. Eye on the ball and a strong mark in the centre. Some support coming from Brendan Honor. Gets past one opponent. A quick handball is blind towards Schimmelbusch. A hurried kick to Lindsay. Called play on as it was touched. It's Pillmore with possession. Hannah is the receiver. Back towards Pillmore, who's provided the run from half-forward line. A low kick that rebounds off of Honor's body, Brooksby's body, picked up by Peter Carter. A hurried handball, but no support there will allow Stephen Keane for South Adelaide. South out of trouble momentarily, out towards the outer side, and Martin has taken it. Martin, with Would in plenty of space, goes to hands and knees. Not much pressure put on him, has got plenty of time to get the kick away. Not a good kick up towards the half-forward line. A quick handball coming out, trying to find Schulz again. Schulz taps it in front, but the line too close, and a throw-in to result on the half-forward line as the siren sounds at half-time. South Adelaide lead 4-3-27. West Torrens 4 points.
And we'll join Bob Hammond and Bretton Miles right after this break for their summary of the first quarter's play.
Yes, Brent, 4-3 to 4 points. Probably is not a true indication because it was worth 3 goals, the breeze. South struggled early, but then in the last 10 minutes of that quarter, did much better, tended to use the ball long, got it over half forward, and provided those smaller players with opportunities.
Yeah, certainly they changed their tactics, Bob, to advantage, as you say. But I think Torrens let their guard down a little bit too after the first 5 or 10 minutes of that quarter, and yet they picked it up again in the dying moments of that quarter. And with Robson showing signs that he might be in a bit of form at centre-half forward, there's every chance that Torrens can be right back in this game at half-time.
Well, he's given them every opportunity to this stage. He's played very well at centre-half forward. Hawkins and Hodgson had an interesting duel in ruck, but the real value of Hawkins is that he gets back into the back line to assist that half-back line and full-back line. They then run the ball out of there and give their forwards every opportunity.
Yeah, I agree, Bob. It's pretty even in the centre duels, I think. But as you say, Hawkins is the better ruckman around the ground, and that's terribly important. He's certainly giving South the start they need around the ground with their big men.
Well, it was South Adelaide's first quarter, aided by that 3-goal breeze. We'll be back shortly to see what Torrens can do with the breeze in the next quarter.
Second quarter of the Escort Cup Grand Final. South Adelaide 4 goals 3, 27 points, are leading Torrens 4 behinds, 4 points.
And Torrens kicking with the breeze in the second quarter, and they're immediately into attack off the boot of Schimmelbusch. Hannah appeared to duck the head there, might have been called out. The handball coming over to Dillon. Dillon onto the left boot, the kick up towards the full forward area. Robson on the ground, a couple of players with their hands on the ball. The South defence, a very tight defence as they work it across towards Hannah from Ivanov, but over the line for a throw-in.
Torrens straight into attack. Dillon was the player that was running loose but unable to capitalise fully, missed his footing a bit and was an ordinary kick.
Robson to full forward and Carter to centre-half forward.
Right.
From the throw-in, it's Big Hawkins who pulls it out of the air. A hurried kick up towards the wing on the outer side. Player appeared to be pushed out there, and it's allowed to go on as on a go to the ground with a hip and shoulder from Pavlik, and the ball out of play for a further throw.
We've seen that with West Torrens frequently in the night games, interchanging their full forward and centre-half forward. The regular full forward, Johnson, of course, not playing tonight.
From the tap out, it's Bennett with the body over the ball. Can't control it. In goes Butler. He goes to the ground. 2 or 3 players on top of the ball at the moment. A bit difficult to get it out. The umpire will assist. And Rick Kinnear to take possession at centre-half forward for West Torrens.
The message would obviously be to get the ball in long and quickly to Robson, who's been marking everything in the first quarter.
Right, so Hawkins with the tap. An opportunity for Would. Would goes to the ground. The whistle is sounded, and Would will get the free kick.
Well, that was a push in the back as against somebody taking a dive.
Sure.
So Would now, half-back flank. Towards the wing. Enright on
was a good take.
On the bottom of the, or in the front of the pack, I should say. Gets the handball away quickly. And once more, we've got the throw-in. South edging it gradually out of defence, up towards the half-back line. 12 is Hodgson, 15 is Hawkins. The tap taken by Would, a long handball once more towards the boundary line. Too close to the line for Schneebichler to control, and another throw-in. Might see a little bit of bottling up out there, do you think, by the South defence, Bob?
I think that's the obvious message. They'll try and play it along that outer flank until they're up within scoring distance of goal.
Right, so pulled out of the pack there by Glenn Hewitt. A long handball will find Schneebichler. Schneebichler now running through that half-forward line. Gets a kick into that right full forward pocket. Players converge. Slattery's got front position. Collier on his hammer. But the ball will beat both players out of play. And once more, the boundary umpire to earn his fee tonight with the throw-in just a little in advance of the half-forward line. Schneebichler, a big thump. Grabbed by Kim Curtis. Oh, touch of the fumble. Can he regain his composure? Gets the hurried handball away. An opportunity for Kellett. Kellett into the centre of the ground looking for Hill. A bit too far for Hill. But Carter backing up there will take it for West Torrens. Onto the boot, straight down the centre of the ground, up towards centre-half forward. Hannah went up one hand, couldn't take it. Graham Brooksby will do the defensive work out towards Honor on that outer side. Honor now short. He's got loose players on that wing position. It'll be Butler who's the receiver. No pressure on Butler, looking for teammates up on the half-forward line. A quick handball coming out towards, or is intercepted by Butler. Kellett gets the quick kick, back towards the wing, fact, out of play on the full.
Well, South Adelaide, arguably the best defence in the league, brought that ball out very effectively out of their defence to enable them to take it up and receive this free kick on the half-forward flank.
South still 23 points in front, and John Schneebichler to take it on the right half-forward flank. Gets good distance into that breeze too. He's a powerful kick, but there's a good mark taken by Curtis for the West Torrens side.
Got to come down the centre, Teddy.
He'll have to at least be towards the centre, and he is just that. Torrens awake to the game plan. But thumped away. Torrens get it moving now. Pavlik's hand pass across to Schimmelbusch was just a little high for the little fellow. He's grabbed too high around the neck and gets the free kick. Hasn't got a runner this time for the hand pass, so he'll go for the kick. And does, and directs it towards the grandstand side. He's cleared centre half forward, the South defence through Palmer. Read it well off hands. Tries to go for the boundary line. Hewitt with the hand pass has the run from Philip Wall from the right centre wing. Way out towards, angling towards the pocket. First player there. Brought away by Torrens, by Enright towards the centre. See the ball finally flicked away, and this time it's Nicolaitis. Cover centre half forward. Stewie Palmer's there. Got a push as he went to mark. Ball on the deck once again. It's Robson who gets it out. It's a bit loose. Brenton Honor is there. Goes for the sanctuary of the boundary line, but doesn't get enough distance. And again, we see the ball over the boundary line, and the boundary umpire, as Brian said before, will be working overtime tonight. Almost in the left forward pocket for Torrens, and almost the 5-minute mark of this second term. Hawkins with the big reach over the top. Pavlik couldn't handle it for Torrens. Solento was there for South. He carried it towards the boundary line. He was tripped in that play and gets the free kick on the half-back flank for South and goes towards centre wing. The Flyers can't take it, and again it's Hewitt who ferrets out the hand pass. Has Philip Wool running for him, but he loses it. Hodson, clever knock on to Kellett. But Kellett again finally gets it back. This time to Schimmelbusch. He does something positive with a long kick and clears the half-forward line. Must be a free kick. Oh, certainly a foot right in the middle of the back. The player had not much chance of marking. Came to Robson off hands. He snapped Australian, just 1 point. Well, gee, Bob, that must have been touch and go.
Yes, it was Ian Hanna. I believe the intent was to push the South Adelaide player under the ball as opposed to using his back to climb into the air, and I believe it was a free kick missed by the umpire on that occasion.
4-3 South, 5 points Torrens.
So Stewie Palmer towards the outer side. Lindsay from behind gets a fist at the ball. It's Schimmelbusch that picks up the crumbs. Gets past a couple of opponents. Tries to find Pillmore with a handball. Pillmore grabs it at the second attempt. His kick off the side of the boot almost goes backwards. Players can't take the mark as it comes off body towards the line. Pillmore tries to take control, but the ball will beat him. Once more a throw-in, about 20 metres around from the West Torrens goal. Hawkins there. Pulled out of the air by Lindsay. He loses it. The ball coming now towards Brooksby. Back towards Martin. Attempts the soccer off the ground. Will be grabbed out there by Pavlik, or was it Schimmelbusch? Schimmelbusch into the full forward area. No Torrens forward close to the fall of the ball, and taken safely by Stewie Palmer in defence. Wide towards Martin. He placed that well and just kept it in play. So Paul Martin, the dashing South Adelaide wingman. Look, it's a high kick. It's almost coming straight out of the sky like a stone. Dillon gets the body behind the ball, takes the mark, plays on. A long driving kick. Here's the opportunity for Robson. And he's got it about 20 metres out and on the 45-degree angle, as you can see.
Oh, I felt for Stewie Palmer then when he had that ball in the back pocket. He didn't really want to come this side of the ground, Bob.
Well, he didn't. He had no alternative because the other side was well covered. Came this side. Martin's paid the penalty by kicking it high towards half forward. The resultant kick back to Robson. Robson, no mistake. Have a look at this ball. It goes as high as it goes long. Dillon's the player that gets under it, and he kicks long into goal. Robson's judgment's far better than that of Brooksby and takes a relatively simple mark, although under the conditions with the breeze as it wasn't as simple as it looked. But that's West Torrens' first goal. They're 1-5, trailing South Adelaide 4-3.
Back to the centre again, and we see South working it clear. Philip Bull across to Mike Bennett, then into the forward pocket it goes. Curtis reads it well against the breeze and takes the mark in advance of Miller. Back towards the centre of the ground, Kim Curtis directs play. Hawkins has the ball thumped away from him, and again it's Dillon. Gets it out beautifully to Cazzoli. Cazzoli to Hill. Hill from centre half forward, took one stride too long. Cazzoli backed up. He was held when not in possession of the ball, and West Torrens get the chance at least to make good for that last error by young Hill.
Teddy, that was a super tackle by Paul Martin. He started some 3 metres behind Kevin Hill. Probably just saw him sneak into the picture very late, just enabled him to grab Hill at the very critical moment as he's kicking. But then, unfortunately for Martin's effort, South Adelaide made the mistake, and now we see the free kick from centre half forward.
David Cazzoli's kick is offline and just the minor score. 1 goal, 6 Torrens with 7 scoring shots. South 4 goals, 3, likewise 7 scoring shots.
That's the South Adelaide runner down there in the goal square, obviously telling him to play the outer side.
Right, and it's Hately who takes the kick off, gets it over in the direction of Keane, but it's taken by Pillmore. Here's the opportunity now as a quick handball goes, but it's tapped away by Farquhar. Back towards Pillmore again. Pillmore onto the left boot, into the full forward area. It eludes the pack. Will it bounce through? Palmer gets there. What's the decision by the goal umpire? Palmer there, too late. And through it goes, and a second goal to Torrens, and they're right back 2-6 to South Adelaide 4-3.
Well, again, the breeze has played a big part in this kick. Handball from Nicolaitis is over and long, intercepted, but as Pillmore quickly grabs it, and on his left foot, he puts it into the goal square with the breeze behind the ball, receives the favourable bounce, and we see the umpire in perfect position. The ball obviously just over the line before Stewie Palmer could touch it. 2-6, 4-3.
Centre bounce, and Hodgson gets it running once again for Torrens. Bennett is there for South. He loses out, however. There's a free kick. It'll go the way of Mike Bennett. He was held when not in possession of the ball. Goes wide for the boundary. Glenn Hewitt is there. Has plenty of time to get himself settled. The kick's not a good one, however. It wobbles off the boot, and a free kick will go the way of West Torrens skipper, Robert Enright. He's on the half-back flank as he takes the kick. Gets good distance, a tidy kick towards centre half forward. Well read off the hands of the pack there by Pavlik. In towards the forward area it goes. Comes to Hannah. Hannah loses it. Robson, though, quickly with a hand pass. Schimmelbusch ran past it. Brooksby towards Martin is good. He goes for the sanctuary of the line. The wind takes over. The line is there. Throw in right forward flank. Well, Torrens scored from here not more than 2 or 3 minutes ago.
Teddy, is it an educated guess or is it a pro-Torrens crowd?
I would say from the way the cheers went when the crowds ran through the banners, Bob, at the start of it, very much a West Torrens crowd. Butler getting South, moving up towards their left half forward flank. Schneebickler working hard, but once again the boundary line the winner. Throw in left half forward flank for South Adelaide this time. 4-3 South, 2-6 Torrens.
So the big fellows set themselves. Schneebickler in front position, but over the back it was Nicolaitis that got the tap. Onto the deck it goes. A quick handball comes out to Pavlik from Kazoli. Pavlik has still got the body over the ball. Taps it on intelligently to Collier. Collier has got the support running through the centre. It's Enright. Oh, here's an opportunity up the centre half forward. Kevin Hill with it. Kevin Hill 50 metres out, dead in front, but a very strong breeze to give him the assistance. Not much movement coming up in that full forward area. It looks like Hill's going to pop it right up in the air, looking for Robson. It is a high kick right into the teeth of goal. Robson sandwiched between two opponents there. Hasn't got too much assistance. In comes Stewie Palmer, but cannot control it or didn't want to, and it's another throw-in.
As you said, Robson was sandwiched between two opponents. Now, one of them, of course, was Robbie Hawkins, who so effectively gets into the back line on every occasion to assist those backmen.
So Hawkins from behind, goes down to Carter, runs into the brick wall, still got the ball. What's the umpire's decision? The ball held to him, so it'll be a bounce down. Down it goes. Oh, Hawkins with a big punch, but it's Kevin Hill who pinches it. Quickly into the full forward area. No one there for Torrens. It's the defensive Brooksby on to Palmer. Palmer will relieve the situation towards the outer side. Carter with one grab, can't complete it. Schulz grabs it, has an area, into the pack it goes. The umpire will take possession. 40 metres out from the Torrens goal. The bounce down now. Hawkins with the tap again. Tapped on towards Hately, giving him the opportunity. Trying to pick it up. Does now. A long kick towards the wing, but it's way out. No, the whistle has sounded.
He was out of bounds when he kicked it.
Right, thanks, Bob. So back it goes for a throw-in across that half-forward line for the Eagles. 15 is Hawkins. Contested against Lindsay. That's a little unfair as the tap comes down towards Kapler. That's David Kapler, who is in off the interchange bench. And another throw-in on that outer side. 4-3 to 2-6, South leading.
Both sides changing their followers off the bench.
Not a decisive tap by either ruckman at this particular stage. Out comes Lindsay with the ball, but there's a bit of pressure on him. What's the umpire's decision? Some sort of demonstration. Looks like Kinnear will bounce.
Suggesting he wants the leather.
I think you're signalling that it was a legitimate attempt to
Handball it, right. Hamill takes possession, pulled off the ball on the deck with Pavlik there, but once more it's come out across. A little bit of angriness out there with Hamill and Salento. A little bit of pushing and shoving, a couple of round arm rights, not too much damage done. The umpire's in there fairly closely, and temper's just a little bit frayed. Because it is tight, Bob, isn't it? Must be very difficult.
Well, both sides obviously very keyed up. West Torrens, this is the climax of their year almost. They probably don't have a lot of chance of making the final 5 in the day competition, and this is the highlight of the year.
Hamill and Hawkins had a wrestle under the ball, and the flyer over the top couldn't get it away. A free kick's been sorted out. This time it'll go the way of Bruce Lindsay of West Torrens.
Teddy, whenever there's a scuffle, all you have to do is sit under the pack and get the next free kick.
You must be reading my mind. Towards the forward pocket, it goes for Torrens. Back of the pack, Stewie Palmer. Read it well, gathered it cleanly. Goes to the boundary line. Shane Butler's there. Appeared to be tackled high, but no, call play on. The tackle was good by Barry Pillmore, and a throw in between half forward and forward pocket for Torrens. Outer side of the ground. And again, the big pack is around. This time, Robson down from full forward contested the knock. Shane Butler couldn't keep control and probably didn't want to as the 15-minute mark creeps by. 27 points south, 18 minutes Torrens. There's the hand pass forward by West Torrens. Schulz with the airy, leaves it behind. Couldn't quite get to it, over the top of the ball, pulled off it, players pack up, bounce.
Teddy, it's interesting. We said about 3,000 to 4,000 when we started, but that crowd's built up quite significantly, and I'd estimate it to be around the 6,000 mark.
Well, I'd say a lot of people might have stayed home to make sure the rain was staying away, but still, they're going to see a good game as they see Schultz again get the ball away for South. Getting the ball clear is Kellett for West Torrens. Goes well. Finds the ball there with Pisani down towards the forward line, and the diving mark taken by Barry Pillmore. From half forward line, goes towards the goal square. It's a well-positioned kick. And again, desperate defence by Brooksby of South Adelaide sees it fisted through for a minor score to Torrens, and they get now within 8 points. 2 goals, 7 Torrens, 4-3 South.
Once more towards the outer side. Mark safely taken there by Mark Schulz of South Adelaide. Little behind the half-back line. He'll drive it wider towards that wing. Away it goes. Schneebichler in front, and he's taken the mark in opposition to Kellett. A good mark.
Better explain to the people, Brian, that he's on the half-back flank.
Yes.
Now for me, centre-half forward position.
Yes, he's a long way away from centre-half forward.
Well, the whole game, there's not a player behind the, midway between centre and half forward for South Adelaide. Do you notice that, Bob? Not a player.
No, certainly no one inside half forward.
So there's even a trainer there trying to get down there. He can't find anyone to give the water bottle to.
Mick Hamill with the kick up towards the half forward line. Schimmelbusch with the handball. Torrens into attack from Nicolaitis up towards full forward. In front it was Brooksby. The ball runs off hands towards the boundary line. Palmer is there. So too is Robson, but the ball will beat players across, and once more the boundary umpire to do the work. Get a camera shot of that crowd now on that outer side, and gee, they're brave people out there. That cold breeze would be coming almost straight into their face. As Pavlik takes it, a quick handball is pinched there by Salento towards the wing on the outer side, missed there by Schneebichler. A hurried kick by Hamill, a high kick towards centre half forward. Carter behind from Torrens, takes it the second attempt.
Free after disposal, Teddy. Big Hamill was slung to the ground after he'd kicked the ball, and whilst Carter was juggling with the mark, the umpire had judged a free after disposal.
Well, Carter should be within kicking distance, but that's not a good kick, not well timed at all as it comes off hands. Honour is there, an opportunity for Robson to get the handball back to Lindsay. Lindsay onto the left boot. It's a high kick coming down almost on that front kick-off line. All players fly from behind. Couldn't take the mark, however, immediately. There's 4 or 5 players around the ball. Pillmore in front position, got a push in the back, and we'll get the free kick for the Eagles. And certainly this was in kicking distance, only 20 to 25 metres out and a slight angle.
Well, that fly was by Ian Hanna. It was a super attempt. He certainly got 2 hands of the ball, didn't control it quite long enough. The resultant scrimmage saw a free kick to Pillmore, and he'd just be 25 metres out on about a 45-degree angle.
He got a goal earlier in this quarter too. His was the one that eluded the pack, wasn't it? That went right over the fingers. So,
yes.
Okay. There's a moment of truth for Barry Pillmore. Can he convert? It's an important one. Oh, gee whiz, offline. And Torrens frittering away a few chances up there, Bob, as they go to 2, is that 2-8?
2-8.
Yes, to 4-3.
Yes, they've had 6 scoring shots in this quarter for 2 goals 4. And that was a relatively easy shot, and it could be costly in the long term.
And what's worse, Bob, he's kicked it so hard that it's going to take a while to come back, and of course there's no added time in this quarter.
No time on.
Well, they better make sure they get the right ball back after that rather strange incident at Glenelg on
I think
Saturday.
they've been instructed to go out to inspect the ball at every opportunity, make sure there are no initials on it.
Teddy, it'd be fair to say that South are playing with just a shade more control, and probably Torrens are playing with more enthusiasm.
Yeah, although I think Torrens are starting to get their act together. I was going to say bad luck that young Pillmore missed the goal, but that wind is tricky. It's going right to left, and it's not a steady wind. It's wafting around quite a bit, and I think we'll see a lot more goals missed than we'll see kicked tonight.
It's a terrible kick.
Yeah, it's not a good kick for the for full-back. The mark can't be taken out there by Schimmelbusch, and immediately the pack forms, and the umpire wants more to do the work.
Well, Schimmer just threw his hands in the air in anguish because it was a relatively simple mark, and he bumbled it, and now the bounce down at centre-half forward.
Look at the pack around the ball.
Hawkins gets the tap out into the space as it goes. Lindsay is the first player there. Body over the ball, he's grabbed. Comes out now towards Salento. Salento has got support from Kapler. Kapler's kicked down that eastern wing up towards the half-forward line. Butler trying to get around, following the fall of the ball. Couldn't take the mark, and we've got a throw-in.
Minute to go.
So it's an important minute for South Adelaide. If they can kick that bottle up there and it's in front by 7 points, it's reasonably handy. From the throw-in, players are finding it a little difficult at the moment as it's once more work towards that boundary line. Players with their hand over the ball, and it's eventually Kapler with the last touch. But once more, it's a throw-in centre wing on that outer side. 7 points the difference. 27 plays 20s, 4-3 South, 2-8 Torrens. The ball hooked back from the boundary throw-in. Keem is in there. In comes Nabikla to lend a hand. Comes off his body towards Salento. He can't handle it either. And another throw-in. Almost the same spot. Number 11 is Hamill. 36 is Schimmelbusch. 47 is Kellett. Hamill gets the tap over the back. A quick handball coming out to the run of Kevin Hill. Can he get it down there quickly enough? A long penetrating kick. Can Carter take the mark? No, he can't. Hawkins does as the siren sounds. And a very timely mark indeed by big Rob Hawkins on the siren at half-time, with South Adelaide leading 4-3-27, Torrens 2-8-20.
We'll be back right after this break to join Bob Hammond and Brenton Miles once again for their summary of this time of the second quarter's play.
Breton, West Torrens certainly had a lot more of the ball than South Adelaide, but South appeared to control the ball when in possession far better than Torrens did.
Yes, I think Torrens might be a little bit over-anxious, Bob. We mentioned during that quarter their enthusiasm is absolutely evident. There's no question about that, but perhaps a little bit of anxiety coming into their play, particularly when they got it down into the forward line area where opportunities went begging.
Well, I'm sure they're very, very eager, and as you say, anxiety plays a part. We saw a very experienced player in Schimmelbusch miss a relatively easy mark. He'd normally snap them up and make easy meat of it. Young Pillmore up forward's been a dangerous player. We saw him kick a goal early, but then we also saw him miss what was a relatively easy shot.
Yes, but he certainly contributed, Bob. He was a very, very good player in that quarter, as was Robson. We mentioned
Robson's given them something up forward to kick to.
Yes, it was interesting to see that he was shifted from centre-half forward, where he played in the first quarter, to full forward, and that was a good move, I think. Here's an example here of Robson's ability.
He read this ball far better than Brooksby. He ends up marking it unattended, but he read it from a long way back, far better than Brooksby, and then in fact converted for 4 points. The South Adelaide defence is very disciplined. Hawkins gets down there. He helps the back line immensely. They're very disciplined the way they bring it out. The only time they brought it out around the grandstand side, they paid the price, and that was the goal to Robson. Other than that, they take it around that outer side. They don't attempt to do anything with it as far as conversion's concerned until they get up inside half forward. West Torrens' defence stood fairly steady because they, in fact, didn't allow South to score at all in that quarter.
No, they didn't. Just mentioning the tactics of the South Adelaide backline, Bob, in that they are keeping it wide and playing to the outer boundary. It was a rather different tactic to that employed by West Torrens in the first quarter, where they made every attempt to score.
Well, they did. They went up there on 4 occasions, scored 4 points, as you said. But I think South were happy to restrict Torrens scoring rather than attempt to score themselves.
Yeah, and fair enough too, because they had that 4-goal advantage at quarter time, and that was worth trying to hang on to. What do you think Glenn Elliott would say to his boys at half-time, Bob? Certainly there's no room for complacency.
No, well, I would think he'd be very happy with the endeavour, but I think he'd be asking them to use the ball a bit better, just to take a bit more care in their disposal, to be a bit more controlled in their action, in their approach to the ball, and to use it a bit better. Of course, South Adelaide are going to kick with a 2 or 3 goal advantage breeze in this quarter. They're going to need to be 3 or 4 goals in front to feel confident about the last quarter. In reverse, West Torrens have got to restrict those opportunities.
Well, it's a very, very important quarter, the third quarter, particularly on a day like this or a night like this where you've got that strong breeze. If Torrens can hold South, well, they're in with a real chance in the last quarter. If South get 3 or 4 goals in front, well, it makes it very difficult coming home with tired legs.
Well, it's been a great contest, 7 points the difference. We'll be back shortly to have a look at the third quarter. Just 7 points the difference in South Adelaide's favour as they play West Torrens in this grand final of the Escort Cup.
And away they go. The tap into play straight away. Torrens there in the Torrens player in Schimmelbusch dives on the ball, but defensive at the moment. Nobody can get the ball out of play, so the umpire almost the rebounds. Centre circle. Tap coming out now in the direction of Haitley, but it's not Haitley who gets it, it's Glenn Hewitt. The handball comes off of Bennett's body. An opportunity for Big Mick Hamill. A quick handball out into the path of Enright there. He can't control it, but taps it over to Wells Pavlik, onto Dillon. Dillon coming through that half-forward line, onto the left boot, into full forward. Lindsay in front position, nudges Palmer, but the ball on the deck at the moment, giving Salento the opportunity now. Players on the ground, the ball tucked under, and indeed there'll be a free kick picked up in there, going Carter's way. Carter doesn't waste any time. Here's Schimmelbusch loose at centre half forward. He's got running players on that outer side. Tries to pop it over in that direction, but can't. The South defence too good as they bring it out from Hawkins over towards Martin. Martin's kicked up towards the half forward line, and a good mark at centre, or down the half back flank by Collier. A quick handball to Keller, on towards Simon. Simon's got front position, is grabbed, loses it, comes towards Martin. He's the first player to gather it. A good tackle put on him by Cazzoli. A quick handball over to Collier. Collier's grabbed the ball between players, and the umpire with no alternative but to bounce centre wing on that outer side.
Well, it's the third quarter and South Adelaide have the breeze in this term. Torrens will be desperate to make sure that that advantage doesn't go South's way. Brooksby was left it behind, then it went to Bennett. Bennett in turn to Honour, to Salento, and a free kick has been found. It will go the way of West Torrens.
Schimmelbusch, it was sheer persistence, Ted. It was the third body that he tackled, dislodged the ball from the player's arm, and he was adjudged to be holding the ball.
The right half forward flank, the hand pass is good, finds Cazzoli, up towards the forward line it goes. Bruce Lindsay's there to take the mark. He's 30 metres out from goal, he runs round, lines up and snaps to goal, but again offline, and Torrens working beautifully into the breeze, coming from that outer side pocket.
It's a very encouraging start. South weren't able to score against the breeze, and immediately in the first 2 minutes, Torrens score a point against this fairly strong breeze.
The South's quick play on sees finally Peter Ivanov's kick towards the half-back line. Hills there, trying to work it clear. Haitley for South, Bennett for South Adelaide. Back towards Shane Butler, over half-forward. Back of the pack, Slattery's there, has run provided for him. Bustled off the ball, Schultz is there. He sees it go backwards. Torrens throwing it clear. Philip Wald. Oh, gee, legged out of the way. Allowed to play on. Out towards Schimmelbusch for Torrens. He's got the paddock in front of him. Goes out wider on the flank. Finds Pavlik. Low trajectory kick. Robson's there. Quick handle of the ball. In towards the goal square. Ivanov's there. Goes to ground. Throws it towards the line. Pillmore's there, but this goal umpire had signalled that the ball was over the line prior to the kick.
Well, it must have been touch and go again. It was a very promising attack by West Torrens, doing all the attacking in this first 2 or 3 minutes of the third quarter against a 3-goal breeze.
Well, Palmer with the kick out, goes short. Butler's got it, being checked very closely by Robson.
Only 5 points of difference now. That's the closest they've been from about 5 minutes into the first term.
Schneebickler contests the mark, but well read off hands by Butler. A long handball, 20 metres, but too far for Haitley. Through comes Enright, got one too high. Not Enright, Pisani. Got one too high, but play on is the call. A short pass to the grandstand wing, sees Hannah get it, kicks into the body, tapped over by Bennett, on towards Butler. Butler trying to find Tutt, too far for Tutt. Close to the boundary line will give Slattery the opportunity. Slattery's handball goes astray, onto the deck it goes. Vigour being applied at the moment, and the free kick going Torrens' way in the pack as Nicolaitis gets one too high.
Yes, Nicolaitis on the bottom of the pack. The South players all over his back.
Knocked away from Schimmelbusch by Martin. Simons picks it up, gets the hurried handball, comes back off bodies towards Slattery. Slattery is legged or tripped and will get the free kick just in advance of the half-forward line. Probably 35, perhaps 40 metres out from goal. The breeze coming over his right shoulder should render some assistance, so he's got to go a little bit to the right of that right goal post.
Teddy, he's got to run into a heavy patch just in front of where he's standing at the moment. Between he and the man on the mark, it's a fairly heavy patch.
Slattery gets good distance with his kicks normally, but that one not quite getting the distance as off the pack's hands and through for the minor score as the Torrens defence concede that behind.
It'll be interesting to watch Torrens' defence, how they're going to attempt to work it out. South Adelaide were always keen to take it to the outer side and work it along that outer flank.
28-22, 4 points the difference. South in front as Kim Curtis takes the kick.
Gets good distance out towards the half-back line. No mark taken. Bennett is there for South. The ball can't be worked clear positively. Umpire will bounce again. Rick Charlesworth, the umpire on this occasion. Knock away by Torrens. Wald was manhandled. Holding the ball, the decision. It'll go the way of Big Mick Hamill. He's worked well since he came onto the ground.
He's played very strongly. He showed a bit of temperament there at one stage, but he's put all of his energies towards the ball and the man with the ball, and he's done a pretty fine job for West Torrens.
Again, the ball just worked off the top of the pack. Torrens finally get it across to Cazzoli. Now it's Hannah for Torrens. Goes short. Player taken out of it, and it's Hewitt's long hand pass is good. Hawkins bursting clear through the centre of the ground, goes towards the pocket. Miller forced to spoil from behind. The ball on the deck, and the free kick will go the way of the West Torrens player, Kim Curtis. Goes in short, but the ball tapped forward, but in so doing, the South player infringed again. I think it was Hewitt, the player on that occasion, and David Cazzoli again. But the true centre half-back position to take the kick for West Torrens. And already for 7.5 minutes of this third term, they've kept South at bay, even though South have the breeze.
Well, into the centre it goes. An opportunity now for Torrens as Nicolaitis gathers onto the left boot. Short, he's got a player loose at centre half forward. Looks like Pillmore it is, and Pillmore's taken the mark. Pillmore now playing on it at all costs, out to that forward pocket, trying to find Carter. Can't take the mark. Loses it on the ground at the moment as players trying to pull it out. The ball comes off bodies out into the open spaces, but very difficult in there and congested. But once more it comes out, giving Salento the opportunity this time. A quick handball towards that boundary line, since he sees Brooksby pick it up. The handball relayed on towards Ivanov. Ivanov now from half-back has got the run in the centre, and the mark will be taken there by Shane Butler. Haitley provides some more run. That's the way that it's going, and Haitley takes it. He's got the loose man in Slattery. Slattery through the half-forward line, hooks it around. Who is he looking for there? Glenn Hewitt. It's too far from him. The ball's then knocked forward, but it's Kim Curtis in defence. It'll relieve.
Oh, he's run his full distance.
He sure has, and done it with dash too as it comes up onto the outer side to Cazzoli. A handball is pinched there by Martin. Over it goes with the opportunity now for South off of Miller's boot. And what's the decision? Oh, gee, it's close, I reckon, and through it goes.
Yes, well, Curtis has paid the full penalty for that. He ran probably 15 metres with the ball, but then his delivery was poor. Put his teammate under pressure. There we see it. swooped upon by Martin. Martin eventually will handball the ball to his South teammate, and who was the player?
Miller.
And Miller with no mistake. Now, Torrens controlled the ball for the whole of that first 5 to 7 minutes. South, with one thrust, have kicked a goal. 5-4, 2-10.
Well, Torrens get it working their way, but they can't quite capitalise. Finally, it's Carter who does. Goes out wide, but Ron Hakely reads it well. Back towards centre half forward for South. Schneebichler on the run. The mark successfully completed.
Could have been
between
a 15-metre penalty.
Centre and centre half forward. Well, Torrens are showing plenty of desperation. One wonders with their Saturday results whether they show the same desperation, but take nothing away from them tonight. They've taken it right up to the Southerners. Towards full forward, and the big pack sets. Read well off hands, and it's Collier who takes it away for Torrens. Out wide, Dillon is there. Has time to get composed. The hand pass is good and strong. Finally, it finishes up back with Kellett. His kick is high and starts to wobble in the wind. Hawkins can't complete the mark. Schimmelbusch works hard over the top of the ball, back towards Dillon. Tries to gain some yardage and does, or some meterage rather, and does. The right half forward flank, and a throw in necessary.
12 points the difference, 5-4 to 2-10.
I see Carter there, and Hawkins. Hawkins gets the tap away. South can't capitalise as Brooksby knocks into the clear. Players packing up on top of the ball, and it's not pretty football to watch, but the conditions are such, with the wind blowing, wet ball, it's a bit greasy, and it is a grand final.
David Kapler on the bench, waiting for Miller to reach the bench so an interchange can take place.
Off the top of the pack, see Torrens finally working it out, looking for Robson. He gets one high, but allowed to play on. Takes advantage of that, but he kicks it high in the air. It's going to drop into the open spaces. Bruce Lindsay, with a desperate attempt, has been paid the mark. That'll be interesting on replay.
Well, it was
whether he controlled that one.
It was a super attempt, and as you say, it'll be interesting to see how it will come up on replay as to whether he actually controlled it long enough. But it was a great attempt anyway, and he's been paid, if not for the mark, it's certainly for the attempt.
25 to 30 metres out, the kick on the way, the breeze, a big influence. It's dropping short, but I think he's got it through. He certainly has, and West Torrens' goal against the breeze. What a goal for them to get.
Here's the kick from Robson. It goes very, very high. It holds up in the air. They expected it to go over their head. They've got to dive back at the last moment, and there he is, takes the full chest. Looked good enough to me on replay,
yes,
Teddy.
I'd go along with him.
It came up better on replay than it did to the naked eye, and full marks to Bruce Lindsay for that effort. 5-4, 3-10, and West Torrens had one too many in the square.
And it'll be Hawkins' free kick. Straight down the centre. Oh, good distance too, over the half-forward line. Schneebichler in front position, can't take it. The quick handball coming over to Hakely from Butler. Hakely's kick, not a good one, into that full forward area. The Torrens defence using handball to work it over towards Collier, but Collier out of play when he got that handball from Enright, and we'll see a boundary throw in the right full forward pocket.
One goal the difference. South kicking with a 3-goal breeze.
Hamill and Schneebichler. Not a decisive tap by either ruckman. Nicolaitis with possession now. Got one a little bit too high. The umpire in good position, and Nicolaitis with possession. Got a couple of loose players on the grandstand side, but elects to come more towards the wing, looking for the tall timber in there, but it's Big Mick Hamill against Brooksby that takes it on towards Carter. Carter has got Dillon. Dillon running not Dillon at stretch, close to the boundary line, but off the side of the boot and out of play on the full.
Yes, that was a promising attack by Torrens, spoilt by the disposal of stretch.
So the free kick now to West Torrens, to Farquhar for South Adelaide. His kick just over the wing. Big fellows set themselves onto the deck, it goes. Players can't control it at the moment. Taken out of the scrimmage there by Pillmore. Forces it up looking for Robson. He's in front position and a good mark under pressure from Farquhar.
By G's been a good player up forward.
Doesn't waste any time either. Gets it over in the direction of Pavlik. Pavlik having a little difficulty. The tackle put on him, pulls him out of play. And once more we've got a throw in across that half-forward line for West Torrens. South 5-4, 34. Torrens 3-10, 28, 6 points the difference.
And one could almost say only 6 points at this stage because the breeze is still there. Carter, kick smothered by Ivanov. Centre wing, South Adelaide go over their half-forward line. Hodson couldn't complete the mark. Well backed up by Pisani, however. Searches out wide. And the mark is taken out there by Hannah. Breaks away quickly. Over towards half forward it goes. Brooksby covered plenty of ground to get there. Spoiled well, went to ground. Walder's there. He's taken out of it, but fairly. The hand pass is good. Finds Martin. Martin in turn to Butler. Butler weaves through the pack towards the full forward area. Schneebeckler from behind can't take the mark. The snap off the ground by Hewitt is just offline. Just the 1 point. Hewitt to full forward by the looks of things, and Miller replaced onto the bench. His place was taken by Tutt. So South ringing the changes up forward, but only lead by 7 points at the 15-minute mark of the third term. Curtis with a kick in towards the half-back line for West Torrens.
A good-looking kick too, but well read off hands there by Wold. His kick coming off the body now will give Schneebeckler the opportunity. A quick handball going over towards Tutt. He takes a long time to get rid of it. The umpire agrees, and the free kick will go to West Torrens and Paul Nicolaitis. Short, oh gee, that's put Torrens in a bit of... well, I thought the mark had been paid there, but it hasn't. It's allowed to go on as it comes back towards Enright, under the bottom of the pack, shoveled out now, giving Nicolaitis the opportunity, trying to stretch, dragging the ball underneath him, and the umpire will bounce. I thought it was a mark going out there.
It appeared to be, although the Torrens player came late and took control of the ball. Torrens showing more desperation.
Well, you know, I'd probably say that's
well, in this
fairly,
quarter,
yeah,
I think
okay, up until now, Bob.
With a 3-goal breeze, and Torrens basically have done most of the attacking in this quarter.
Certainly a lot more than they did in the first quarter. Anyway, the free kick coming out of there to Hodson, it is. Hodson for Torrens. His kick into the centre of the ground. Carter has got front position, knocked away by Brooksby, under towards Farquhar. The quick handball over to Salento, the handball into the space. Schulz taps it off the ground. Up it goes towards that half-forward line now, but Nicolaitis is there. His handball intercepted by Wood, but the whistle has sounded, and the free kick going Torrens' way to Nicolaitis. Nicolaitis a little towards that outer side, looking towards the centre, but we'll keep it towards the... no, it's coming back into the centre a little bit now as Kevin Hill gets underneath the ball. Can't quite take the mark. Onto the deck it goes, out into the spaces now as players converge. Off hands it goes, giving Carter the opportunity. Gets it the second attempt. The handball over a wider, or free, it's got to be a free kick in there to Simons. Grabbed much too high, and he'll get it centre wing on that outer side.
His kick towards that right half forward flank, but again it's Hawkins in front. He's been a strong player for South Adelaide. Hand pass to Ivanov. Oh, gee, that's a rotten tackle to put on a player, but the hand pass was good and came away, and we see Honour with a long kick towards the forward line. Off the hands, touch hand pass. See Schneebeckler, spin, snap towards goals, gives it every chance, but hooks it too far. The wind, the influence, and the sixth behind on the board to South Adelaide. 5-6 to South Adelaide, 3-10s Torrens.
Yes, Johnny Schneebeckler on that occasion had Haitley running down the wing in support. He chose to ignore him, snapped, and a point the result. Whereas had he have given the ball to Haitley, it had full face of goals, and one can only guess what the result would have been.
What an excellent kick in from Kim Curtis. By gee, he's getting good distance with that kick. Out towards the half-back line. Butler's there. Bustled out of the way. Torrens trying to work clear again, but they can't. Players pack up and a bounce, and the seconds tick away. 17.5 minutes of the third term gone, but of course we play 21 minutes plus time on in the third and fourth quarters. The bounce on that half-forward flank for South. Nothing decisive again, and the boundary umpire to throw in on that outer side. That's where all the work is, on the outer side of the ground, because the wind is blowing from the grandstand towards the outer and into the left forward pocket of South Adelaide at the moment. Off the hands of the pack, South trying to break clear. It was Martin, and then Schulz goes to ground. Finally worked clear by Torrens with the chain of hand passes, gives the chance for Mark Pavlik out in front of Hill. Gets it clear now. Bruce Lindsay breaks towards goal. Hill, the backup player, 30 metres out from goal, snaps towards goal. The bounce of the ball sees it carried over the line, and just the minor score. Schimmelbusch, the desperate attempt to get it, but 1 point only. 3-11 Torrens, 14 shots to South, 5-6-11.
Encouraging thrust, that one, Bob.
Well, it is. They had 2 and 3 players running support for the man in possession, and it looked very, very promising. in the finish, a point the result.
Beautifully controlled there by Hannah on towards Pillmore. Pillmore's handball to nobody in particular, but it's Pavlik backing up. Hooks it over, but it's too far for Schimmelbusch. Lindsay is in there, but the whistle is sounded. It'll be a free kick going South Adelaide's way. Ivanoff or Palmer was it in there?
Palmer.
So Palmer with possession for South Adelaide. Straight down the centre. Got some distance too. Coming up only about 10 metres short of the centre circle. Behind the pack, it's Bobby Enright. Gets a hurried kick towards the half-forward line. 1-on-1 out there. Can the mark be taken? No, it's taken off hands by Pavlik once more. A short left foot kick towards centre half forward, looking for Robson. Can't take the mark. The ball on the deck at the moment, but Robson doing everything to regain possession. But it's Salento that gets it across to Martin. Martin's kick up towards the wing on that outer side. An opportunity out there for Salento. A quick kick. The mark taken by Collier, no, by Simons, I should say. It's not. Onto the deck it go, but Simons does it well as he gets the handball over towards Enright. Enright will get it to Nicolaitis. Nicolaitis over towards Schimmelbusch. Schimmelbusch back towards Enright again. A quick handball up over the half-forward line. But a lot of body work going on here at the moment as Martin comes in and gets it to Farquhar. Farquhar's handball loose. An opportunity for Cazzoli once more. His quick handball is grabbed by Hannah. A quick tackle put on Hannah. A lot of strong body work out there at the moment, making it very difficult for players to control. And we've got a boundary throw in that right full forward pocket. Hawkins unopposed, gets a thump. Pillmore the first player there. Gets a hurried kick. Close to the line. Nobody there for Torrens, allows Ivanoff the possession. Ivanoff back in towards the wing on that outer side. Quick handball coming out, but meanwhile the whistle is sounded. And it'll be a free kick going South Adelaide's way. A little towards centre half-back.
Slattery's kick over half forward behind Schneebickler, got the ball running. First on it was Tutt. He seemed to be ridden into the ground, the umpire out of position. Hewitt gets the ball closer to goal, keeps it in play, well done, doesn't give the behind away. Snaps over towards goal, across the face of goal. Bennett back to Tutt, Tutt under real pressure, has to go for the boundary line, throw in.
Yes, good pressure defence by the West Torrens players on that occasion. They never allowed the South Adelaide players to be able to settle for that shot.
21 minutes played, only the time on remaining. Behind it was Hodgson. Had his hand in Schneebickler's back, but allowed to go unopposed. Off the ground, the ball worked across to Hill. He loses possession. Hawkins' tackle was good. Keeps working hard. Goes out wide, looking for Salento. Salento can have some backup support. Close to the boundary line, must be pushed in the back. He is by Hannah, and it must be a 15-metre penalty.
Undisciplined play by Hannah on that occasion. It was out of bounds. He ended up pushing the player in the back, and now in turn he's given a 15-metre penalty to boot.
Greg Salento, about 40 metres out. Doesn't have a lot of goal to shoot for because the ball will take it right to left. You'll almost have to aim for the behind post. He does just that. The ball stays out there and goes dead straight, in fact, out of bounds on the full. How do you explain that one, Robert?
No, not good enough. Should have kicked to the head of the square, allowed for the breeze and given his forwards a better opportunity at the ball.
Well, Torrens through Bruce Lindsay. Bring the ball in. It starts to stand up in the breeze and Paul Nicolaitis takes the mark. Has the run on Lindsay. Did it well. Found Collier. Back to Lindsay. Goes for the grubber along the ground. It's good, heady football. Not out of bounds on the full. Lindsay now going back to lend hands in the defence. The Torrens players
playing a loose man in defence now. West Torrens happy to sit where they are. They're only, 7 points behind, and they've got the 2 to 3 goal breeze to come home with.
South now through Schulz. Couldn't work it forward. It was Lindsay who dived on top of that, smothered it, kept the ball in the area, and it'll be a bounce down again. Just forward of the right centre wing for South Adelaide, who lead by 7 points as the seconds tick away in this third term. Again, the boundary line close, and again we'll have a boundary throw in. Been hard work for the umpires getting position tonight because of the number of players around the ball. Hawkins again gets first hand of the ball as he's done most of the night. Schultz lost it. Nicolaitis didn't. Hill for West Torrens sees the ball up into their forward line. Schimmelbusch under pressure. Robson cleverly taps looking for Dillon. Straight into the hands of the pack. called play on. The kick forward by Honour. Grabbed by Philip Wald across to Schulz. The siren sounds. Scoreboard at the end of the third quarter sees South Adelaide 5-6, 36. West Torrens 3 goals, 11, 29.
We'll be joining Bob Hammond and Brenton Miles right after this break for their summary of the third quarter's play.
Well, I believe the quarter belonged to West Torrens. They kicked 1 goal 3 and exactly the same score as what South Adelaide did. But South were aided by a 3-goal breeze. But that didn't daunt Torrens. They continued to play attacking football and they matched scores, Brent.
Yes, they did, and I think full credit to Glenn Elliott. Bob, with the tactics he's adopted tonight is one of attack, be it with the wind or against the wind. And at three-quarter times, it looks as though it may well pay dividends because they kept the ball in their forward lines that quarter with a marvellous amount of aggression and commitment to the ball and to having an ability to give it a go into the wind.
I think at half-time we said that Torrens were playing with more enthusiasm but perhaps making more mistakes, but they eliminated a lot of the mistakes and they reaped the benefit for it. Player up forward who was I felt quiet in the first half but then gave them something was Bruce Lindsay. He moved around, he kicked the vital goal for them. Let's have a look at Robson. This is a very high ball. It holds up in the air and we'll see Lindsay, both players misjudge it and then at the final moment lunge to take the mark. To the naked eye it almost looked a dubious mark, but when you have a look at it on slow-mo, he controlled it long enough. He got to his feet and kicked a goal, and that was a very vital goal for West Torrens in that quarter. But certainly a great quarter. It all sets it up for a great last quarter now with only 7 points the difference. Torrens to come home with about a 3-goal breeze. We've got a great contest on our hands.
I agree.
quarter of football in the Escort Cup for 1983 coming up. The West Torrens have worked themselves to within 7 points of South Adelaide. They have the breeze to come home with in the last quarter. Only time will tell whether they're good enough to take advantage of it.
And the bounce favours Hamill, and Torrens into attack straight away up towards their half-forward line. Schimmelbusch showing a great amount of courage in there, throws the body over the ball, was grabbed, but play goes on. Out towards the outer side, Butler goes to the ground. Hip and shoulders going in, very desperate at the moment as it's socket off the ground by Schulz. Close to that boundary line with the opportunity now for Haitley. He's got a touch of the fumbles. The heavy body put on him and the throw-in will occur.
South Adelaide immediately on the defensive, playing a loose man in defence, sitting upon a 7-point lead. Torrens kicking with a approximately 3-goal breeze.
Hamill and Schneebeckler contest. Tapped off the ground. In comes Mark Pavlik. Also Haitley. Haitley in front position. Can't quite pick the ball up at this stage. Is shepherding allow his teammate to do the work. But indeed the umpire decides that he'll take possession. Between wing and the half-forward flank for the Eagles. Hamill gets the tap. A very hurried kick gets into the full forward area. Carter's got front position. Can't quite control it. Will he be the first player there? The South defence very desperate. In comes Robson. Robson gets a quick one out towards Carter. He's grabbed. Has to get rid of the ball. Close to the boundary line and indeed across. And another throw in the left full forward pocket for the Eagles. 7 points the difference. 5-6 South. Torrens 3-11, 36-29.
Hawkins and Robson to do battle, and it's Hawkins who gets hand on the ball once again. Dillon's snap towards goal is well and truly unsuccessful as it was smothered off the boot and another throw in. The boundary umpire on the outer side of the ground, or the boundary umpires who run the outer side of the ground, have had their work cut out tonight. Left forward pocket, Torrens in attack. And again they set. And the ball smothered off the boot. Torrens work it clear. This time it's in the direction of... That looked like Nicolaitis down from centre as he snapped towards goal. We'll pick that up on the replay, and Torrens get to win 1 point.
Yeah. Yes, it was a good handball. The ball came out the back of the pack. Player that finally got the ball, I think, was Pavlik. Pavlik, a quick handball out to Nicolaitis. A very high ball. The wind's done the rest. It's just drifted it in towards goal. And that takes West Torrens to within a point of South Adelaide. 5-6 leads 4-11.
Bounce in the centre again. This time it's Hamill who got the tap out wider. Haitley looks for Brenton Honor. He's taken off the ball. Comes towards Pavlik, across to Hill. In towards the lead, on from the forward pocket, and the mark taken by Ian Hanna. Only 35 metres out from goal. The breeze across his right shoulder. South looking down the barrel now. Ian Hanna gets the kick on the way. The goal umpire sees it over his head and the crowd erupts. West Torrens have hit the front for the first time in the match, and it's only 2.5 minutes into the last quarter. 5 goals, 11 Torrens, 5 goals, 6 South Adelaide.
Well, the second half's been very good for West Torrens. They equalled the score of South in the third quarter, and now in this last quarter they've kicked 2 goals in 2 minutes. We saw a well-directed kick from Kevin Hill. Just held the ball up, put the ball in front of Hanna. Hanna came out from the forward pocket, marked it and converted for full points.
Oh, the bounce favours Hamill. It's the Eagles into attack again, up towards their half-forward line. Ivanov has got front position. He's hotly pressed there by Pillmore, but Ivanov does it well out of that defensive position, up towards the wing. Bennett is there, and the mark taken by Michael Bennett. Looking for the running player to use the handball, but elects to kick eventually in towards that half-forward line. Tapped on by Tuck, but the whistle has sounded. A free kick.
Slattery was pushing under the ball instead of going for it.
South Adelaide are going to have to do something they couldn't do in the second quarter, and that's score against this breeze.
Right, so Torrens are with possession as they work it over the wing, over Lindsay's head, and the mark taken by Brenton Honor. Honor's kick now. A wobbly one, not too much distance in it. Ball can't be controlled. Walled in there, his body over the ball, a couple of players underneath him, and once more the umpire will attempt to bounce out there on that outer wing. Will not attempt to bounce, whips it up. Hawkins gets the tap down towards Ward. He can't control it. Tapped off the ground towards the boundary line. A very hurried kick coming into that full forward area, trying to find Robson, but it's not Robson, it takes it, it's Pillmore. Pillmore doesn't waste any time. All rather quickly, perhaps, the ball smothered off the boot, gives Tutt the opportunity. gets it across there and enabling the defence to work it towards the wing on the outer side. Handball being used to give Hamill the opportunity. Hamill's kick only a very short one. Here's an opportunity now for Torrens once more as it goes to Schimmelbusch. Up towards centre half forward, taken away from Carter. It'll be driven out of defence towards that wing position, towards the centre of the ground, giving Martin the opportunity. He can't take it. In comes the very damaging Schimmelbusch. A quick drive in towards that centre half forward position, trying to find Robson, but the South defence equal to the occasion, and the mark taken at centre half back by Ivanov. Across wide towards that outer side. Hately is there. He's pressed by Pillmore. Hately gets the handball back, trying to find Tutt. Socket off the ground by Lindsay. Over to Hannah. Back to Lindsay. Lindsay with a long handball, but towards the boundary line, and indeed can't be controlled to force the throw in that left forward pocket for the Eagles. 5-11-41 West Torrens. South Adelaide 5-6-36. 5 points the difference.
Torrens are in attack though in their left forward pocket. The back to tap away. Sees the ball hit the ground, taken forward by Pillmore. Players pack up on the ground once again. And it's a sight we've seen all night, but it's been pretty desperate football, and I certainly blame nobody on the ground for the type of game we've seen. Both sides have been absolutely desperate. The conditions have been against them. Dillon slams his way through the pack and gets a kick away at goal and puts Torrens one clear goal in front. 6 points the difference now.
Obviously a vital score. That a goal to South Adelaide would only equal the score. What Torrens now need to do is quickly get another score. South desperately have to need the score against the Breeze, and it's worthwhile remembering they couldn't score a single point against it in the second quarter.
Brooksby's kick in out towards the half-back line. Off the hands of the pack once again. And Torrens hunting in pack. They finally work it around. Again towards Dillon. He goes in towards goal. Offline, just the 1 point.
Well, that's 2 scoring shots in front, Teddy.
Yes, 7 points the difference, and Torrens doing it well at the moment. Ron Hately being
removed from the oval. One of his efforts out there on the outer side obviously wouldn't have pleased the coach, because it certainly didn't please too many of the supporters.
Well, there's a kick in and not done well, and Dillon chips in to take the mark. Certainly well within this player's kicking distance, and with his experience, the direction should be no problem. Torrens on their home ground, under their own lights, certainly taking advantage of any mistake the South Adelaide make. One was made by Brooksby's kick in. It's on the way and has gone right through the middle, and Dillon notches his second goal for the night, if my memory serves me correct. Does he not? No, he doesn't. He joins the list of single goal kickers for the night. But it's a very important goal for Torrens. 6-13 Torrens, 5-6 South.
Well, South Adelaide paid the penalty. They've taken the ball around the outer all night. They chose to bring it to the grandstand side. Good mark and a good resulting kick from Kim Dillon saw them reap the benefits.
3-2 Torrens have kicked to South Adelaide's nothing at the moment. It goes to Schulz. He's pulled off the ball. In comes Dillon, tries to pull it out, but the umpire's whistle has sounded and the umpire will bounce down.
Well, Torrens are all hyped up, Brian.
They sure are. Yes, as Bob said earlier in that second quarter, he reckoned they had a lot of desperation. They've certainly got plenty now as it's tapped on, giving Hill the opportunity. Hill's got Robson loose, but Hill lines him up, decides to go long. Brooksby getting underneath it. Has he touched it? Yes, he has. Yes, he has. He's touched it. The goal umpire indicating that the fingers made contact and the minor score only. But every score at this stage, Bob, very important as far as Torrens are concerned, as they go to 6-14 with South Adelaide 5-6. So that's 50 plays 36. Stewie Palmer straight down the centre. Looking for Hawkins. Hawkins high from behind. In comes Collier. Gets the handball to Dillon. Dillon onto the left boot. Once more into that left forward pocket, but the ball will beat players across the line, and another throw in about 15 metres around from the Torrens goal.
Bob, a hard job to get man of the match tonight, but Kim Dillon's been a very consistent player.
Well, there's been some very good players on both sides. Robson at centre half forward, Ivanov in the back pocket, Dillon, as you say, and this last 15 minutes is going to certainly help to decide that.
Well, it might be a free kick to Robson, as you saw the player come over the back, but the umpire elects to have the ball thrown in. 36 plays 14. 14 points the difference, with West Torrens leading. The boundary umpire about to flip it in. Farquhar up high from behind, gets it to Ivanov. A hurried kick by Ivanov, out wider towards the boundary line, but Enright cannot take the mark. Fumbled off fingers and across the line.
nightmare for umpires tonight, Brian, with the boundary line play all the time, plus the pack around the ball. They must be unsighted most of the time.
Yeah, difficult indeed, and I don't think they've done a bad job, actually. Into the pack of players it goes once more, and once more the umpires will take, or the umpire will take possession. This will suit Torrens. Bobbers is being bottled up there all the time with close football. The tap comes over to Ivanov. Ivanov shrugs the tackle, a hurried kick into the pack once more. Off hands it goes. Nobody can take a clean possession at the moment. Schimmelbusch gets a hurried kick, but once more there's that great number of players, and in fact the free kick is being picked up out into that pocket, and it'll eventually go to South Adelaide. Ivanov with a hurried kick up towards Bennett. Bennett on the deck. The play goes on now with Keane, the first player there. The tackle put on him takes a fair while to get rid of the ball. The whistle has sounded, and indeed he's going to be penalised for holding the ball. Kim Dillon looking to centre half forward. No, he elects to get the handball away, giving Nicolaitis the opportunity. Nicolaitis will get some support from his teammates on that outer side. Looked like Enright with that kick. A high one into the full forward position. In the middle of the pack, it's Carter. He can't take it. The ball runs off fingers towards the line. Carter getting there, puts the body out, giving Pillmore the opportunity. A hurried kick coming out of that full forward area. Only about 15 metres out from goal as Schimmelbusch buries into it, but a handball comes from Palmer towards the line and a throw in to occur. Not far around from that left behind post. With 14 points the difference, Torrens leading and Ted Langridge.
12 minutes played now in the final term, and Torrens at attack again. Again, it's Farquhar right over the top of the pack. This time it's Ivanov who gains a bit of ground around the boundary line for South, but it stays up deep in attack for West Torrens. The Eagles in full flight. 6-14 to 5-6. A 14-point advantage. Again, no decisive tap, but it's Schimmelbusch finally on the end of the hand pass, but it's smothered down. Hill's there working hard on the bottom of the pack. They keep the ball in the zone, and at centre half forward, a bounce to take place for West Torrens. Rick Charlesworth to bounce. Huge pack around the ball, and it's Bruce Lindsay's long tap away. Tap forward by Salento. Players on hands and knees. Speaks volumes for their fitness under the conditions, the wind and the heavy conditions and the bruising bodies. Both teams going as hard as they started. Again, Hawkins this time has it taken away from him by Robson. On the ground, Bennett. About to be set upon. No, it's not Bennett, it's Tutt. Goes towards the centre of the ground, but Torrens have got it locked up there, and Mick Hamill to take the mark. They're going to have to put numbers on helmets soon, Brian.
Yes, they're becoming very frequent, Ted.
15-metre penalty as Snebekla encroached over the mark. Mick Hamill gives it a huge boot towards the goal square. At the back of the pack, Carter will turn and seal the game up for West Torrens.
Yeah, seal the game up, I think is the word, Teddy. They are now 20 points in front and doing it very well. They're aided by a 3-goal breeze. This kick of Hamill's travelled some 50 metres, carried the pack. Carter read it the best of all, marked it almost on the goal line, turned around, and that certainly puts the seal upon the game for the night champions, West Torrens.
Bob, it's interesting to note there have been 12 single players kicked the goals. $56 points to 36, a 20-point margin in favour of Torrens, and Torrens with the breeze at their back.
And Rick Charlesworth takes the bounce down. Hamill is there in opposition to Would. Would gets the tap. Out towards that outer side. Martin can't control the ball. Into that sticky spot it goes once more. A quick handball coming out, giving Kevin Hill the opportunity. He's got a touch of the fumbles. The ball worked out now, held to Schulz's body, and indeed the umpire to bounce.
Bruce Lindsay asking the question, was it holding the ball? Charlesworth says, no, it's mine, I'll bounce it.
So down it goes. Schulz gets the tap. To nobody in particular. An opportunity for Martin under the pressure, gets it out towards Would. Support there from Honor. Honor's hurried kick up towards the half-forward line, and the mark taken by Snebekla. Snebekla, driving kick towards centre half-forward. Kevin Hill in there trying to grab it, so too is Collier. The ball underneath a couple of players, and it'll be a bounce down at centre half-forward for the Panthers. 7-14, Torrens 56, South 5-6. 36.
First time they've had it inside centre-half forward for the entire quarter.
South have only kicked 1-3 since half-time as the tap goes to Kepler. A hurried kick into the full forward area. Kim Curtis there for the Eagles has played well too. A good kick back to centre-half back. Hamill there and takes it unopposed. Or not unopposed, but takes it opposed against Butler. Out towards the grandstand side. Over Hill's head, over Keame's head. Bennett grabs it. On towards Butler. Butler can't control it. Players throwing themselves in with desperation at the moment, particularly Torrens. Appeared to be a throw that time by Butler over to... by Bennett over to Butler. His kick in the left forward pocket. The whistle is sounded and it's a free kick going South Adelaide's way, and it'll go to Alan Tutt.
The hardest position on the ground from which to score. We saw that early in the game when Peter Carter's kick went at about a 45-degree angle after it looked as if it was going through the middle.
Hodgson on, Hamill off.
35 metres out. Look at the wind take that one, almost a boomerang. Couldn't be taken out there by Collier. Collier will be first to the ball, however, and can get it out of defence too as he goes very wide towards that boundary line. Players converging on it from both sides. It's Schulz there. Can't quite get hold of it at the moment as it's tapped on. The opportunity now coming for Salento. Salento's kick bottled up as it comes back into that mud patch as Kepler grabs it. But it'll be Torrens out of defence with Schimmelbusch lurking. He'll be the receiver. A quick kick coming up to the half-forward line. Ivanov can't quite control it. Onto the deck it goes. Neither can Honor. He can't get it. Robson, who's been a tower of strength, gets it out. Lindsay up for Pillmore. Pillmore lines them up on its way, but eludes the tall uprights and sneaks in for the minor score.
Well, Barry Pillmore's played it well tonight with his possessions of the ball. Been a bit loose around goal, and yet he kicked the goal I thought that sparked them off.
Sure. And we've just had word that there's 8,000 people here, and I would suggest that 7,000 of them would be West Torrens supporters.
Well, Bennett took the mark and goes up towards centre wing. South now working it forward. This time it's Salento with a long hand pass is good. Finds Hawkins. Tower of strength for South tonight. Goes in towards the forward area, but it's Torrens, not to be denied. Carried clear. Collier across to Pisani. No, it's Curtis rather. He goes short, and the mark has been taken for South Adelaide, and push them back forward is Philip Wild. Up towards the forward pocket, and the mark taken by Tutt. Oh, he went to go. I think the whistle might have been a fraction late. He went to go, but the umpire has given him the benefit of a very grave doubt. 15 metres out from goal. And he's going to have to go for that left goal post. He gives it left goal post. The ball stays out there and goes 1 point only. Well, only 30 metres difference, or 25 metres from where they kicked before, Bob, and the ball turns at right angles.
Yep. It's a matter of that just the breeze didn't appear to pick that ball up at all.
5-7 South, trailing Torrens 7-15. The Panthers in control at the moment with 3 minutes plus time on to play. They work it clear now. The ball comes cleared out towards Schimmelbusch. Handles it well, as he always does. Goes for the hand pass, looking for that running on player. This time it was Pavlik. He in turn finds Collier. Back to Pavlik in the 1-2 play. But the boundary line's there. Throw in. Left half forward flank for West Torrens. Leading by 20 points. And there won't be a lot of added time in this game. It's Hodgson and Hawkins. No clear tap. Butler was there. So also was Pavlik, but finally off hands it comes to Ivanov. Wald didn't take it. On the ground again. Nobody can get it clear. Finally Torrens through Pillmore. Weaves his way out of trouble. Goes long towards the pocket. Looks for Robson. Can't find that player. Hannah will be there. Carter there for Torrens. But again, the boundary line and a throw in. 5-7 South, 37. Torrens 7-15, 57.
So we await the boundary umpire as he flips it in now. Robson, but it's Farquhar over the top that gets the tap. Players burrowing there. It was Schimmelbusch as he spent most of the night on hands and knees trying to take it, but the boundary line too close. Farquhar there, number 16. Hawkins against Robson. Hawkins appeared to get the tap. Ivanov will get the kick up towards that half-back line. At the mark taken out there by Hodgson. Plays on quickly to the centre-half forward position, Lindsay. Lindsay comes even wider, coming towards the grandstand side, trying to find Collier. A quick handball goes back into the direction of Enright. Enright short will find Hill, and Hill at centre-half forward. Well, only 40 metres out from goal in that very sticky area. Kevin Hill, with one of his good kicks, would get the distance from there. But quite obviously, that sticky spot must play a little bit of a part on the brain. And the kick not quite getting the distance, and taken by Brooksby on that last line of defence. A hurried handball into the path of Ivanov. Ivanov close to the boundary line, and in fact the ball will slip across, out of fingers, across the line, and another throw-in. 57 plays 37, 20 points the difference. Torrens 7-15, South 5-7. Robson up high from behind, grabbed by Bennett. Bennett not knowing which way to go, elects the outer side. Mark can't be taken out there by Simons. Is it Schneebichler who gets it in the direction of Schulz, but off his fingers across the line, and another throw-in on that half-forward position for West Torrens. 20 points the difference.
22 scoring shots to 12 certainly tells the story.
Hodson from behind, Schneebichler in the front position. Tapped on by Hawkins. Eventually tapped out of that hard spot there as it goes to Kepler, over towards Honor, back to Keem. Keem from the centre of the ground, heads it towards centre half forward. Oh, courageous mark taken there by Martin as he gets the quick handball over and eventually relayed from Salento on towards Keem. It is. Players on top, and the umpire elects to bounce.
We've entered time on. Can only be about 2 minutes left to play.
At the outside, Bob, I would think, yes. As the bounce takes place, it's Hawkins who gets the tap, goes to Salento. Salento bursts through the pack, loses possession. An opportunity now for, the whistle has gone. I think I was going to say an opportunity to stretch, but it's going to be the free kick to Cazzoli.
David Cazzoli gets Torrens once more into their attacking area. Behind it was Salento's big tap away. Bennett finishes up with the loose ball. Gets clear, holds on too long. Well tackled there by Schimmelbusch. Finally comes to co-rover in Pillmore. Across to Nicolaitis. Cross the ground, two Torrens players. They leave it behind. Hannah, the player, finally scoops it off the ground. Carter's there. Back to Hannah. Pillmore ducks into trouble, ducked the head, but gets the benefit of the doubt. And the bounce down will take place at centre half forward. Well, it's the Medleys now as we go into time on. And Torrens 7-15, 57 lead by 20 points over South Adelaide, 5-7, 37. Hawkins outgunned 2-1, the tap down, saw Nicolaitis finally hook it out of the pack. Ivanov through for South Adelaide. Stephen Keem there, Ivanov to take the free kick for being held when not in possession of the football. Goes grandstand side, it drops short, Greg Salento is there. He takes the mark on the half-back flank for South Adelaide. Breaks clear, goes short. Jeff Collier there for Torrens, works the ball through the pack. Backed up there by his teammate Pisani. Loose ball comes out to Johnson Schneebichler, a quiet player tonight. Conditions against him. But the umpire had blown a whistle up, bounce down. Hawkins tap away, knocked forward by World, but it's Torrens as they bring it away once again. They finally finish it up with Stephen Stretch. His long kick to the forward area comes off hand. Stewie Palmer into the open spaces at centre half-back. Schulz is there. The hand pass is good to Bennett. Out wide, Hawkins is there, completes the mark against Hodson. Breaks away, gets the kick in, over full towards the forward area it goes. In front, Hewitt. His efforts are spoiled. Hits the ground. Cazzoli there, no, Collier rather is there. In towards centre half-back. Nicolaitis is there, and there's the siren. The Escort Cup Grand Final has been won by West Torrens. The scoreline reads West Torrens 7 goals 15, 57 points, have defeated South Adelaide 5 goals 7, 37.
We'll be back with the official presentation of the 1983 Escort Cup right after this break.
There's only one unfortunate aspect to a grand final football match. That's that somebody's got to lose. Bad luck to South, good luck to Torrens. It's not just the Escort Cup that's at stake tonight. There's the small matter of $25,500 worth of prize money to be handed out. I'll leave that department to Mr. Max Bashir, the president of the South Australian Football League. He'll be introduced to you by Mr. Robert Dakin, the regional manager for WD and HO Wills. Mr. Dakin.
Thank you, Bob. President Max Bashir, ladies and gentlemen. Well, what could one say? A mighty game of football, a desperate game of football, and certainly I think the real winner tonight is the game of football. A happy mob. President Max Bashir, I would like to extend our congratulations to the South Australian National Football League for once again staging a most successful and exciting Escort Cup Grand Final Series. To the winners, West Torrens, our congratulations on a great team effort. Whilst your form during the day games has been a little bit mixed, your performance in the Escort Cup Series has been excellent, and I dare say that could be a good omen for 1984 season. And I wish you well in your future endeavours. Right. To South Adelaide, there's got to be a runner-up. You have played well throughout the season. You've also played extremely well in the Escort Cup Series, and I congratulate you on that performance. Your day game performances have you in with a chance for the day premiership, and I'd like to wish you every success in your quest for a premiership. And I would now like to join Max Bashir in presenting the awards for 1983. Thank you.
Mr. Dakin, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the 10 league clubs, may I say how grateful we are to Wills for making this presentation possible. Thanks. I know it's a big night for West Torrens, but I hope you'll afford me the privilege of thanking the WD&HO Wills Company for making this competition possible. I sincerely hope that the powers that be will enable the company to continue to sponsor football in South Australia in the way that they have over the past years. And I want to thank the football public. In their numbers tonight, 8,000 people attended this match here tonight, and I think that's a great thing. I have much pleasure in asking Stuart Palmer, the captain of South Adelaide, to accept a cheque for $10,000 as the runner-up.
Thank you very much to WD&HO Wills for the sponsorship. Thank you to Channel 10 for covering it, and our congratulations to West Torrens. Well done.
The Man of the Match Award, I'm sure you'd all like to hear who that is. I have much pleasure in asking Barry Pillmore to come forward and accept a cheque for $500.
just like to thank the sponsors, WDHO Wills, to all these blokes over here for a great team effort tonight. Thank you.
The cheque to the premiers of the Escort Cup for $15,000. I have much pleasure in asking Bob Enright to come forward.
Thanks, Max. On behalf of Glenn and the players, I'd just like to congratulate South on their effort tonight. I'd like to thank all the supporters for coming tonight, for making it a great success, and also to all the fellas that have played in all our 4 Escort games, which contributed to the money we earned tonight. Thanks very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Escort Cup for 1983, Bob Enright. Here, Bob.
Well, to the worthy victors go the spoils. The Escort Cup for 1983 and $15,000 in first prize money, bringing Torrens' total prize money for the night series to a healthy $34,000. And with these wild scenes, we'll leave Theberton Oval. On behalf of everyone who's been involved, thanks for being with us this season. We look forward to your company next year.